Risk Management Series, Geopolitical Risks. Welcome to the second video in this video, we're diving into geopolitical risks, a critical area of concern for businesses operating across borders. We'll discuss geopolitical risk, explore some real-world examples, and look at the regional nuances companies must consider in the US, China, and Latin America. We will also provide general strategies you can implement to mitigate these risks and stay resilient in a constantly changing political environment. What is geopolitical risk? Geopolitical risk refers to the potential impact of political decisions, events, or instability on your business operations. This includes changes in government policies, trade agreements, tariffs, sanctions, political unrest, wars, and shifts in diplomatic relations. Essentially, it's the risk of operating in a particular political environment that can affect your bottom line. These risks have become increasingly prevalent in recent years, particularly due to trade wars, sanctions, and political tensions among major economies. It is crucial to understand these risks and their potential impact on your business, especially if you are operating across multiple regions. Let's look at some real-world examples of how geopolitical risks can affect businesses. The US-China trade war, 2018 to 2020. This trade conflict led to sudden tariffs being imposed on hundreds of billions of dollars worth of goods. For example, GoPro, the action camera maker, quickly relocated production from China to Mexico to avoid the tariffs. This agility allowed the company to mitigate the impact on its US sales. Apple's production dilemma. For many years, Apple relied heavily on China for its manufacturing needs. Apple sought more cost-effective production options after facing high costs and inefficiencies in its US plants. They explored several countries before deciding that China offered the ideal environment: low labor costs, skilled workforce, and established supply chains, leading them to make massive investments in Chinese production. However, Apple is now in a difficult position with the rising geopolitical tensions between the US and China. Should they have considered alternative production locations or developed a backup plan in a different region to hedge against the risk of these tensions? The question remains, could Apple have avoided its current dilemma by diversifying its manufacturing base earlier, or did the lure of China's advantages outweigh these potential risks? US-China tensions in technology. Tech companies like Intel and Qualcomm have had to navigate export controls and restrictions on selling advanced technology to China, highlighting the intersection of geopolitics and business strategy. Let's now explore the specific risks associated with three key regions. United States. While the US is often seen as a stable political environment, businesses must be aware of potential shifts in trade policy, tariffs, or immigration regulations that can affect labor availability. Policy volatility, like changes in environmental or healthcare regulations, can also present risks. China. Geopolitical risks in China are multifaceted. Aside from government regulations that can change rapidly, businesses also need to consider how China's political relationships with other countries, particularly the US, affect their operations. Nationalistic movements or consumer boycotts are also risks businesses need to navigate. A prime example is KFC's ability to adapt to political unrest by deeply localizing its operations in China, thus mitigating the impact of geopolitical flare-ups. Latin America. In Latin America, political instability and frequent government changes can create a highly volatile business environment. For instance, companies in the oil or mining industries may face risks from resource nationalism or expropriation. Furthermore, drug cartel influence or social unrest in regions like Mexico can affect logistics and personnel safety. Now, let's discuss how companies can mitigate geopolitical risks. Continuous monitoring and scenario planning. Keep a close eye on political developments in key markets. Risk intelligence services and scenario planning can help you prepare for events like elections, policy shifts, or even conflicts. Diversification of operations. Don't rely too heavily on any single country. The China Plus One strategy, for example, suggests developing alternative manufacturing bases in countries like Vietnam, India, or Mexico to hedge against disruptions in China. Localization. Embedding your company in the local culture and community can reduce the likelihood of being targeted by geopolitical events. KFC's success in China is a perfect example of how deep localization can protect a business from backlash. Political risk insurance. For significant investments in high-risk countries, political risk insurance can help protect against events like expropriation or political violence. Agility and strategy. The key to dealing with geopolitical risks is agility. Companies that are able to pivot quickly, whether by reorganizing supply chains or adjusting market focus, are better equipped to handle shifts in the political landscape. In conclusion, geopolitical risks are an ongoing challenge for international businesses, but they can be managed effectively with the right strategies. By staying informed, diversifying operations, and engaging with local communities, you can turn geopolitical challenges into opportunities for strategic advantage. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on risk management, finance, global economics, and international trade. Thank you for watching.